Thank you. Thank you very much. If nothing else, lately I've been humbled. This is a humbling experience and also a tremendous honor to be with you here today. When I was told, hey, it's a tradition, you're going to talk to the Rotary Club. A lot of things I went to was about 18 people. So when I walked through the door, I wasn't fully prepared for all this. I see a lot of friends here, a lot of people I met along the way. So it's an honor to be here. If you came to my inauguration, you know I joked, hey, this is my first speech. And it really was because I don't like to read stuff. I'm a coach. I go off the cuff, and just roll. But my team insists on putting some bullet points down. And it's good stuff, so bear with me. So I'm going to go through this a moment, and then I'm going to be fully me, which makes my team nervous. Those of you who are at my inauguration will know that this is just my second speech I have ever given. Except this time they told me I have some bell to be worried about. Now, I got a warning when you rang that deal. I don't know how loud it is back there, but it woke me up. Thank you. We need to be focused on what our vision for Baton Rouge is. For too long, people in Baton Rouge have focused on what divides us instead of what unites us. We know there will always be disagreements, but if we all focus on the things we do agree on, then we can work together to solve the problems. Look, I'm a coach, so when I ask questions, I like to hear responses, okay? Do we all agree that Baton Rouge has a crime problem? Yes. Do we all agree that traffic is horrible? Yes. Do we all agree that blight and homelessness are a problem in our city? Do we all agree we need more jobs in Baton Rouge? Yes. But do we also all understand that while we may not agree on what the solutions to these problems are, that there are indeed solutions to these problems? On crime, if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. While I don't believe you can police your way out of crime, having more officers certainly helps. And a side note, I went to the academy. Best thing I did all week, got to meet with the new recruits. There were 13. They started at 7. I got there at 9, and before I could speak, there were 12. And Chief LaDuff, you already know. And if you were running that show, we'd be down to 2. They started out with 12 cadets, and God bless them. I want you to pray for them. These folks, these people, these 10 young men and women are putting their neck out there for $38,000 a year. Think about that. We need to raise their pay. We need to show our officers and the citizens where our priorities are. One thing that my administration is looking at right now is the possibility of hiring back some retired police officers to do proactive police work. There are a few hurdles that we must cross, but I can promise you that we are going to do everything we can to get our officers some backup. On the campaign, I talked a lot about the traffic gridlock in Baton Rouge, and apparently you don't like it either based on how loud that response was when you answered. I mostly spoke about 2 main projects, the first being the long overdue closing of the Washington Street exit on I-10. My team has already begun talks with DOTD as well as our legislative partners to begin this process as soon as possible. The other main infrastructure project I spoke about was widening of Airline Highway from 4 lanes to 6. This is a much more difficult task than simply closing an exit. But I believe that this is of top importance in relieving some of the traffic gridlock. The Move Baton Rouge infrastructure project has been underway for a few years now. It's done some great things, and it will continue to do so. However, we're going to prioritize road construction before sidewalks. On the campaign trail, we spoke a lot about North Baton Rouge. That's where my heart is, and the problems that it faces. One of the biggest problems, not just in North Baton Rouge, but our entire parish is blight. I believe the city is not clean. Could you agree to that? Yes. As all of you know, blight is a complex problem with lots of complex solutions. It can be difficult and expensive to finally get to the point of removing a blighted property. I've learned that this week. I had bulldozers lined up. I was ready to roll. They said, Coach, you just can't go do that. And we may need to take a look at changing some laws on the state level to streamline that process. But one thing is for sure, the city of Baton Rouge should not own any blighted property. Right now, my staff is assembling a list of all the blighted and vacant property owned by the city parish, and very soon we will begin knocking them all down. I said it, I've already said it in this little deal, it's a dirty city. We need to improve the curb appeal. Earlier this week, at my direction, 3 of the city's street sweepers were removed from surplus where they were going to be sold. Can you believe that, Ms. Jennifer Richardson? They were going to sell these things. They are being evaluated to see what needs to be done to get them back on the street. And we may need some of your help with that. We may need you or a business to be a sponsor. We'll even put your logo right on the truck, okay, wherever you need to be. You see it, Gil Mathern Street Sweepers going down Essen Lane. We're willing to do whatever it takes to get this place cleaned up. A big deal is we want to hear from you to tell us, you know, what do you see? I mean, we're getting a lot of offers for help, right? And it's hard. It's like a tsunami of stuff coming in, and people get their feelings hurt if we don't act on it. But we want your help, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. I'm announcing today that my administration will be hosting a citywide cleanup day where city employees will not work in their offices. Now, you're the first to hear about this. They don't know this yet. But they will go out into the city and clean up. Jennifer, you didn't know this yet, okay? But we're going to work and we're going to coordinate this event. I encourage each of you who are business owners here today or watching at home to close your business just for a little bit that day and help us get out there and go. Now, you know, a lot of it is maintenance, right? But I think we're going to pick that day, we're going to do it, and we're all going to go clean this city. We also have some stuff being helped with the state for this venture. If we do all these things, I believe we can see economic development. But that does not mean that this is not a priority right now. It is. In fact, just hours after I was elected mayor president, it was announced, and this was big for me, I'm a pizza guy, that someone bought Fleur de Lis. Was it anyone in here that bought it? I'm excited about that place hopefully opening back up. If that doesn't say economic development, I don't know what does. On a serious note, I do plan to work with our business community and the Baton Rouge Area Chamber to attract good-paying jobs to our parish. We met with a large company just a few weeks ago who is interested in building a manufacturing facility here in Baton Rouge, which is very exciting. Because as I said at my inauguration, the best way out of poverty and hopelessness is a good-paying job. No other city in America can say that they sit on the banks of the Mississippi River, have the northmost sea-going port, have the most historic HBCU, the flagship university of the state, a groundbreaking biomedical research facility, Tony Seafood, I had to throw it in there, and the best damn people around. My challenge to you today is to lean on the things that make Baton Rouge great and work together under one unified vision on the things that need improvement, and together we can make Baton Rouge win again. Now, this is the part where I get to just roll. Now, those are things we worked on it. It's going to take all of us, and you know this. And my challenge is, no one knows how the other half lives. I've learned it. I've been blessed. I've been able to coach and do my trade in all parts of the parish. There's a challenge, and everyone I've talked to, we're lining it up. People go to North Baton Rouge. Okay, I'm going to speak on that part of the parish first. And I ask people, how many of you regularly go to North Baton Rouge? I've asked this before. Okay. And I won't ask why, but our airport's over there. I didn't even mention the Greater Baton Rouge Zoo, the Southern University, and everything else. And they go into North Baton Rouge, and usually there's corridors. There's Plank Road, maybe even Winburn, North Foster when you travel in. But not a lot of people go into North Baton Rouge. Come get you some in Brookstown. Come peel that curtain back, okay? Go into Banks, go into Ghost Town and Easy Town. And we have a challenge because I want folks to come see this. But at the same token, I want the residents of North Baton Rouge to come out to Highland Road and Blue Bonnet and Storing Lane and Perkins Road and see this part of the city as well. You see, we're a divided city. And it's divided, I learned this in the campaign, it's divided by political status, right? The biggest divide, I'm just going to call it, is racial. That's the biggest divide in our city. There's a trust factor. And I'm here, people got to be willing to change. And people got to be willing to open up their eyes, but more importantly, their hearts, for us all to understand each other. I've said it before, when I was campaigning, I would go out and I would ask, what's the biggest issue? And if I was in a more affluent area of town, quite often I got crime. Crime is the issue. And to me, personally, it's the biggest issue. But when I went into Easy Town and I went into Brookstown, it was jobs and opportunities. So these folks are standing over here, which is the highest crime rate in our parish, generally in those zip codes. But their number one priority and hope was opportunity and jobs. Do you see how we're not far off? Do you see when it comes together, can you see it ahead of time of what could happen in this parish? Because, I mean, I've been accused, Sid, all you do is talk about North Baton. No, that's just where my feet have been, okay? We need help throughout our whole parish. Let's say not everything's broke about Baton Rouge. Look at the room. Look at the person sitting next to you. It's everything that's right about Baton Rouge sitting in this room right now. But we've got to pull together, and there's got to be some patience, because trust me, Lord, I've never done it. I mean, I get calls from my football players at all times of the morning, but I can't. That pothole on Antioch Road, day one, I woke up, and I'm serious. You know, I mean, I felt responsible that I was going to go to the hardware store and get some concrete and run over there and try to do something with it. But I'm honored to be your mayor president. I say it, and I'm going to keep saying it. I am not a politician. I am a coach. A lot of people describe me as a kind man, and I am. But I am not a weak man. And I am going to fight like hell for this parish and work with people to get us where we need to be. Now, a couple of notes I wanted to share with you, because I just want people to know where we come from. I was asked by Shard, when did you decide to do this? And I've talked about this 1,000 times. I've been thinking about it a while. But the last day to qualify was July the 19th. So the July 18th, I went to bed. I still hadn't made up my mind. And this is why people look, how the hell did this guy become mayor president? So I got up, and they said, look, if you're going down to City Hall, you got to wear a suit. I said, I don't know if I got one. So I went, my wife and I went to the house looking for some clothes. And when I got up in the morning, I prayed. I had all my paperwork. I had my money. We pooled our money together. And I said, well, I'm just going to ask God to speak to me. He always does. So I prayed. But when I got up, I put on the suit. I got my paperwork, got in my 2004 Suburban, and I'm rolling, and it's storming and raining. But I had my change of clothes for Struma High School with me, because we were working out in the weight room, okay? And I said, God, just tell me to go left or right. And it was storming. So everything sign, I'm weird like that. I look for signs. Everything that was a sign pointed, get your tail to a Struma to them boys and go get in that weight room. But I kept riding. And I went down in front of City Hall. You know how parking downtown's hell. We got to do something about that. But when I got down there, there was a spot right in front of City Hall open. And I pulled in, and the rain stopped. I can't make it up. So, you know, they gave me a lot of grief about not voting for 8 years. And it was a thing, and I understand it. But when I got in there, I knew that where I had to go, Mr. Welburn's place, the qualifier was on the first floor. I said, look, I got to go to the second floor. And they're like, why you got to go to the second floor? So I just got to see somebody. I had to make sure I was registered to vote, so I went to the second floor. And because it had been a little while, and that's how, that is a true story. I'm not trying to be a comedian. That's how we got to be here. But you think about it. God wrote it. How else can it be? How are you on lunch duty on Thursday and then you the mayor president the next day? All I can tell you is that every door that had to open, opened. And we don't have enough time today to discuss that. Just know this, I'm a coach, I'm not a politician, but my deal to you is we're going to work very, very hard for this parish to make a difference. I promise you. And I'm going to ask you this, and I know I don't want that bell to ring before I'm done, but I swear I'm almost done. Here's what I need. I need you. I had a citizen, I'm not going to name his name, the fire in Las Vegas of the Tesla vehicle, that thing that blew up. Our firefighters, there's blankets, big blankets they throw on these deals. So we called the fire chief to see how many they had. And we found out they had 2. So a citizen came and bought 10, and they're going to be spread out across the parish. That's the type of help I need, okay? We are running for the whole parish, and trust me, over here needs just as much as over here. But I need resources on the north side of town. I need you to step up. I mean, there's just some things we can do, to help each other out. So I'm asking you, we have transition teams, we have people covering that, but I need to hear from you as well, okay? Everything's not cheery and perfect on Highland Road neither. I mean, there's some stuff we need. So I'm asking you, here's the big ask, Chris. The big ask is when you say we want to help, there's a multitude of ways to help, beyond just donations. But I need you. Maybe you have an idea, maybe you say, do all our police officers have the right equipment? Maybe that's something you can take on, okay? What about, the activity centers in some of our districts? Are they funded and is everything they need where they need to be? So anything you can help with, because the only way it's going to happen is if we do it together. Through the hand of God and Jesus Christ, I'm blessed to be in this position, and I'm not going to let you down, and we're going to win again. Thank y'all for having me. It's been an honor. Questions? Thank y'all. Thank you. All right, now I've told there's a question and answer time. So we've got the rolling mic there, so if there's any questions.
I'll try to be loud. Mr. Mayor President, you mentioned economic development, jobs, North Baton Rouge, blighted properties. I see a lot of those things going together. Will there be some sort of initiative with the city's blighted properties, once they've been bulldozed, to make those properties available to private citizens to establish businesses and utilize again?
Yes, sir, absolutely. One thing we're looking at is partnering with some of the churches as well to look at these properties. I would much rather they be repurposed. I'd much rather there be something positive, in those areas. So we're just not gonna, my worry is the ones that are government owned, the city parish owned. We're gonna look at that. So that's why I said it takes a little minute, a process, because let's say there's a perfectly good building when the bones of it is great. We're looking at that as well. That would be preferable. A lot of the blighted properties are on the inside in neighborhoods. So we refer to them commonly as trap houses. And those trap houses are housing prostitution and drug deals and just not good stuff. But yes, sir, that is an absolute on that agenda to look at repurposing. Thank you very much. My biggest concern since we were elected, I can't tell you how many calls I've gotten about don't hire that guy, don't hang out with this person, this person's a snake, This one's not any good. And what that comes back down to is politics. You don't want to go over there because they don't mean right. You don't want to go over here. And it's just some discernment and some prayer for me to determine. But more importantly, I need that prayer for people to give us a chance. I got hit with this 2 days ago about running in 2029. Are you kidding me? To the point that these people told me who my opponents are, who will be running. Are you kidding me? If I am in this position and I'm worried about running in 2029, then that means it's about me, and it's not about me. But I need the prayers are for patient and understanding of all our citizens, and the prayers for them to come together and try to understand each other, try to walk in each other's shoes, and just open-minded to help us do what we really want to do. That's the parish prayer. The personal prayer is just for my family, including my 2 boys who, they've never seen me in a suit neither. So just for all my family. So I'd appreciate it, sir, if that's included in it as well. Thank you.
Hi. How open are you to new programs that are opening up in the city? And if we want to pitch this idea to you, how would we get in touch with someone from your transition team?
Yeah, Sarah, we have many transition members here. Raise your hand if you're on the transition team or already have been hired. Okay. Any of these folks, you can call, the mayor's office as well. But to answer your question, we are open to new programs. I have a concern that we are currently evaluating every program that's in place. I want to see data, and I want to see results, and I want to see, is it really working, okay? We're just not going to have programs to have programs. The deal is, are they effective, and are they relevant, and are they serving the folks? But yes, ma'am, we are open to anything, any idea. I've already talked to some people already about it, so you're welcome to share your vision and your plan. They making you work, man.
Hello, I'm Shoshone. I'm with the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board, and I appreciate and I like the idea for the city parish workers. I love the idea that you have for the city parish workers to get the day off and go out into the community. I wanted to propose an idea for that same opportunity for your city parish workers to come into our school systems as well, to volunteer.
Amen. Amen. Being blessed to be in the East Baton Rouge Parish School System in particular, and we have a lot of school systems and all that, we know the need for everything. One thing we find with our kids, if they see it, they'll be it. And for a lot of us in here to go into these schools, would mean a lot. I see a couple of principals and educators here as well. Not to mention cleanup days there also, right? Oh yeah, I'm with you.
Hi, Narisha Kurtz with NRK Construction. Have you had a chance to deep dive into the budget, and if so, what are the 3 biggest surprises that you've seen?
My teams, many members of my team have done that. I haven't deep dived, but I'm up to it in about my knees, and it's very concerning. There's issues, we've got to look at. But you got to look. Every administration's different, right? Every administration's going to have priorities. Things will change, especially when you're changing out. I don't want to use all coaching analogies, but if Coach O is the coach of LSU and Coach Kelly comes in, there are some changes. So when I say concerns, it's not legal concerns. It's just, I guess I see things in that budget that can be reallocated to things that are important to the incoming administration.
Coach, can you comment about your relationship with those folks that are running St. George?
Where are you at? I lost you. Oh, I got you. Come again with the question. I'm sorry.
There was some animosity, I think, that existed before now between Baton Rouge and St. George. Can you comment on where you're going with that relationship, or?
Sure, I've already met with some folks over there, in particular Mayor Yates, and we've talked, and we're reconvening next week. My whole thing on that is there's a difference, I think, sometimes in fair and equitable, and the big thing is we always want to be fair. And we got to work out what's best for all of us. It's yet another thing of coming together. I can tell you my goal is to get that resolved as fast as we can and make sure it's done in the best interest of everybody in the parish. That's our goal. And I am extremely confident that we're going to get that done quickly.
Hey, Coach, this is Mindy Richard. I'm Shard's wife. Blame it on him.
You got it.
My question is more about, I think one of the things as the public that we struggle with is knowing accountability, to know what you guys are working on and how successful you have been. So do you have plans for, I know you have a lot of technology in the city with dashboarding and all, but do you have plans to create some kind of vision for us to be able to see how things are going, how many properties you have cleaned up? You know, because we don't know the data that you know. We could be supportive of you if we could see where the gaps are.
Yes, ma'am. Not at this moment, but you just given me a great thought and a great idea, or something to follow up on. I think it's important for our citizens to see the progress. So we've still got some folks to hire. Amongst them, you know, is all departments that could help put that out, and we have some folks there now working that do a decent job. But people need to see. Belief without evidence is tough these days. Thank you. Hey, it's been my honor. I was told that was time. Here again, hope to see you again soon. And however you can help us, hit my team up. We need you. God bless.